So I am incredibly excited to have Patrice on here today. I met Patrice. When did I meet you? December?
Maybe it was November. It was
Was
actually
it
like
November?
Thanksgiving break when we had a conversation.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So I met Patrice. I had been following her on social media and I just kept seeing her posts. And I was like, who is this girl? Every time I see her posts on social media, I am like, I need her in my life. And I don't even know that I need her in my life, but she is convincing me that I need her in my life. So I think that's why I sent her a DM and was like, hey, tell me about what you do. Like, I think I might need you. But I've been working with Patrice for a bit off and on, doing different projects. And it has been so amazing working with her and having a breath of fresh air when it comes to marketing and somebody to be like, hey, I just have these ideas. Can you help me figure out what to do with them? And hey, I need to make my words sound better. What do I need to do? So I am so excited to have her here today. Patrice, do you want to tell everyone what you do in a nutshell since I probably butchered what you do?
No, that was a really cute way to describe it. I am Patrice Garrison. Nice to meet you guys. I am the founder of Successful on Social. And in a nutshell, I help take your complete strangers, your dream clients that are complete strangers, and help turn them into loyal clients. And so we do that through lead generation. We do that through content creation. We do that through actual conversion events, and then we do it through sales. And so whatever it is that you're like, hey, I just want my online business to actually be a business, then you come see me.
Yes, I love that. So I think that as photographers, a lot of times we get stuck in this whole idea, especially in the beginning of I can just post my photos and people are going to come knocking down my door. They're going to get it. They're going to see my pictures and be like, holy crap, those are the best things I've seen in my life. I need to hire her. But unfortunately, that's not actually the way it works. And I think it's awesome that Patrice actually has experience in the photography world. She's been in the photography world, she's been in that industry a bit, and she understands what that looks like from that perspective. So, can you share your perspective on this whole idea of posting your photos isn't enough? You have to learn how to use words in messaging with your marketing.
Absolutely. So just so you guys know, I come from a photography family. And so 2018 is actually when my former partner embarked in photography. And when your spouse was in photography, you're in photography. It's one of those things. And so embarking in this family business at that time, we literally had so many different ideas as to how we wanted to market. And so transparently, we used Thumbtack. That was an adventure in itself. We know we did weddings, so wedding wire. And so eventually you learn that it becomes very expensive to market in other platforms if you do not understand organic marketing. For myself, I have been in organic marketing for it's 10 years now. And so I was like, how about we try to find clients on our own? Like we don't have to start and invest thousands of dollars into marketing if we can just apply what we know. And so the journey of embarking on either if you're gonna just want to post pretty pictures, you gotta have and budget and dollars, and to go into organic was like an adventure. Long story short, what we found when we started posting on Instagram, Facebook, eventually TikTok became down that line. As Karinda said, it's just not enough to just show up. Your clients are looking for something particular, and honestly, it's a feeling. And so, as much as we might say it's completely obvious what I do, like you see the picture, if you're pregnant and you want pictures, then come see me. But there's an experience that each of you offer that if you simply communicate that through your posts in a more clear way, people will know you're the one. People will know that the way they envision the experience. Think about a birthday party, right? Yeah, I could just have balloons and I can just have like cake, but how I want to feel when I walk into my birthday party, I'm going to book the vendors. I'm going to book the individuals that are going to help to create that. And honestly, as photographers, you're capturing priceless moments. Maybe it is related to an actual event like a birthday or wedding or maternity, or maybe it is as simple as we just haven't taken family pictures all year or all decade. People want to feel a certain way when they embark on that journey, and there might be a specialty you have that you can convey through words that people will say, that's my photographer right there. I can't wait to work with them.
Yeah, I love it. I like to say we have to change the definition of marketing. Like when I ask most people, like, what do you think marketing is? They're like posting on social media. And I'm like, that's not what marketing is. Marketing is about educating our clients about why they need us, about educating them on the value and the experience we provide to them so that they don't think we're just going to show up and push a button. They know that we're going to do so much more for them.
Mhm.
We're going to make their life easy. It's about taking away all of their excuses about why they should hire us. And it's about calling them to action. When all too often we're just like, hey, book a session, but we forget we have to educate and provide value and tell them how we're going to serve them and take care of them. And then say, now contact me. And when we get on the phone and we're like, hey, you're going to spend thousands of dollars, they're like, cool, because I already know because you've been priming me in your marketing for this amazing experience and value that I'm going to get. Of course, I know it's going to be an investment. Of course, I know that you're different than what everyone else is doing, just showing up and pushing a button and delivering digitals. You are providing a service for me. So I think that's really what I would encourage y'all to do is to start to look at it in a different perspective and then learn to use your words in that perspective. Because we can't rely on the pictures just to tell this whole story. So tell me, Patrice, what do you think like the secret sauce is to really connecting with people through your words? What do photographers need to think of and business owners in general need to think of when they're trying to figure out how do I even begin to use my words when I feel like this is so outside of my comfort zone?
Good question. And I have a absolute secret that I use that helps me even in my own business. And the answer lies in the words of your client. And so one thing that if you're just busy and you're in the motion, your clients are complimenting you, I'm sure. And you're like, thank you. And you go about your day. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. And you go about your day. But how they're complimenting you is really giving you a glimpse into how your brand actually presents in the experience. And one, again, tip or trick I would give you guys is to actually use their compliments in your marketing. We think about referrals or testimonials, and that's one realm of how we market, and we ignore them in other areas. But those testimonials, that feedback is actually a baseline for your content. This is part of that brand experience. And Karinda, what I hope people really got from what you just mentioned is the difference between a point and shoot photographer and an artist. And so a point and shoot, sure, you can post some pictures. Sure, you can charge $100. No one's going to think or ask anything different. But when you do want to add some zeros to that package, they're going to want to know it is an experience. And so what are people saying about your current experience? Are they saying that you're super patient? Are they complimenting how you pose? Are they really excited about the props that you have or the array of wardrobe maybe you provide? There's something that you do, and again, as you start to increase your service, that level of feedback increases. Do you offer a makeup artist or hairstylist on staff? Do you offer styling tips? So the more that you do, the more you can really speak to in your marketing to say, as you said, this is what sets you apart. And so that feedback has always been key.
Yeah. So how do you think as you're using those words and you're providing that value, how do you differentiate you as a person and use you as a person to connect with people? I like to say, like, you have to get to an ooey gooey level with your clients. Like, you need to tug at their heartstrings for them to be like, yes, I need her in my life. Because people, I think the way they say it in the marketing world is like, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
True.
So, how do you incorporate like this whole idea of the ooey gooey emotionalness behind what you do, not making it about yourself, but also like walking that fine line to make your clients be able to get it?
It is a fine line. And so the way you walk it is almost with how you position your sentences, right? And this goes to basic copy. You are telling them what you love, but from their perspective. I love when my clients feel heard and seen, right? That's an example. I literally melt when my clients compliment the overall like ease of the environment and just how like at home they feel. I'm saying me, I'm saying I'm stating my emotion, and that's giving you a feel of who I am as a person and like how much gratitude I have and how happy I am, that's part of your brand, right? That's part of you. You are your brand. But I'm not saying I'm so happy. I love taking pictures. No one cares. You see, versus but like, that's not what they want to hear, right? They don't want to hear, I get so excited when I edit. That has nothing to do with the client. So it's this dance you do where you're speaking about how your clients being happy makes you feel. And so that does create the ooey gooey. Some other examples of that would be the transformation. I love when my clients are brought to tears when they see their results, their work, their album, their wall art, right? It literally is like the highlight of my day. So you're speaking to, again, that client experience and you're getting them really excited to be. It's this mutual like feeling. It's like we all feel good when this happens, right? And I want to be in the room where my guy, my photographer is as happy for me that this is like an amazing moment that, like, feels amazing. So I hope that makes sense, but that how you structure what you love and how you feel, it that helps to move the client to say, "I wanna be in the in that seat, and I wanna experience that too."
Yes, I love that. It's so like using your words is like a weird dance with words, like kind of like trying to figure out what it is that your client wants to hear, what it is that's going to like tug at their heartstrings, build the value, make them say, I need Karinda over the 100 other photographers they could hire. But also, like you said something, you said, be the guide. And I think that's really important. You are the guide, you are not the star.
Yes.
And honestly, like, you have to consider, like, what does your client care about? Honestly, this might sting a bit when I say this. Some of you that are listening to this are gonna be like, "Oh, Corinda just stabbed me in the heart." Your clients don't give two rats' butts about how long it takes you to edit the photo, what your before and afters look like, the fact that you can remove a leash or do any fancy work like that. They don't care. They don't need to see that. They don't need to know. But what they do care about is how it's going to help them, how you're going to help them, how you're gonna make their life better, and how you're gonna solve the problems that they have. They don't like, there's so many things that I see photographers posting, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't think your clients needed to hear that or see that or know." That does not do any good for building the brand. Um,
Yeah, and to speak to that, like, it's really an effort for photographers to bring people in their world, but again, like what we're mentioning now, this is the key to marketing in general. Like, we say be transparent and we say be open and we say show the behind the scenes, but I think when a business owner, especially a photographer, hears that, they think show them into your personal world. And the client is not buying, they're buying your experience, but they're not really buying like your like personal experience. They're buying the experience they have with you. And so that I just want to stress that so much. Please know, write out if you need to, and I have clients do this all the time. Write out what you want them to feel. Even if you're newer and you're like, hey, I haven't had a ton of clients yet, I don't know. How Tell them like I do this, I work countless hours or however you want to phrase it, because I want my clients to feel this when they see their pictures. And I'm willing to go the extra mile, right?
yeah.
And provide good service. So honestly, inserting some values in there, hardworking, detail oriented, like what is your client looking for that you know that you're able to offer, that you've already proven that you offer. And so people are shopping for photographers and they don't know what they're looking for, but they know it when they see it. It's so weird. And so it's sometimes like you have to be and get in their brain before they've even thought that deep.
Yeah. I think that's a safe assumption that most people don't really truly know what photographers can do for them. Most
Yeah.
this assumption that we're just pushing a button, delivering some images. As a matter of fact, I had a knockdown, drag out argument with my sister last time she was in town because she kept making comments of, "Oh, your job's so easy. You just sit there and push a button." And I was like, "No, I know that's infuriating. Like, you're my own sister. You should get it." But she doesn't get it. And I think that, like, our clients are exactly the same. If my own sister doesn't know how much work I put into it, neither do my clients. But they don't need to know that I sit in front of my computer for 10 hours. What they do need to know is that I am putting all these little details into play and I'm helping them and I'm guiding them. That's what they need to know. And
It's
it's,
the value.
yeah, they don't really need to know how much work it is, but they need to see the value in it. And when they see the value in it, they'll understand, wow, Karinda does a lot of work for her clients. And that's a cool thing. There was something that popped into my head. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, let's talk about how much you should be sharing and shouting this from the rooftops because I think that sometimes people are like, I don't want to bug people. I don't want to post too much. How much should I be posting? How much should I be sharing? I don't want to send too many emails. What do you have to say about that mentality when it comes to marketing?
So this is a great timing for this conversation because we just finished talking about it's not about us, right? And so the analogy I give is that you and your business are like twins, but you're not the same person. What you need, how you feel, it's important. I don't want to minimize that, but it's not what your business needs and what your clients need. And so when, as a photographer, yes, so much goes into what you do, and also you have your own emotions and your own hesitations and your own reservations. But if you know that, first of all, every post you make is not seen by your entire audience. So if you're telling yourself, I'm being annoying, that self-talk is so dangerous because it literally goes against the science of social media. Like, everyone's not going to see your post. Everyone's not going to have time to even read your post or interact with it. It might not be the right time. And so if I only post once a week, let's say right now we're in a season where people are going to start getting more photos taken because the weather's breaking, right? If you're like, I don't want to be annoying, they might be actively looking for a photographer for their next blank, right? Whatever's going on in their life. And you're not showing up because of your own preconceived notion. So I say all that to say your business has completely different needs and honor that. It does need you to post more consistently. It does need for you to show up. And if you feel a twinge of insecurity around posting, then the question would be, do you have a marketing plan? When you have a marketing plan, it's so much easier to see, oh my gosh, I need to sit on this topic for a while. And so Karinda and I, like, we've gone through and we do a whole topic, probably a whole week worth of one topic. Like, most folks will talk about one thing one day and be like, I talked about that, that's it. No, we have 4 more days to talk about the same topic in a different way, right? A different approach, a different angle. And so that's what I want to see more from photographers. Again, not just posting the before and afters, but really speak to what your client is going through, what they're experiencing. Sometimes it's a pain point and a frustration. Sometimes it's a vision and a dream. And if you don't take the time to really sit in what they care about and the experience they want to have, you will find yourself posting inconsistently, emailing inconsistently. And someone might say, and it happens all the time. I know you guys see it. Does anyone know any photographers? Have you ever seen that post on your Facebook page? And you're like, what in the world? I'm sitting right here. This is my like classmate from high school. I went to college with her, or that's my sister-in-law. And you'd be so surprised if you ever see those posts. It's a huge indication that you are not showing up enough and they aren't thinking of you, or you're not top of mind when they need that service.
Oh my goodness. Just the words. There's a podcast series we did recently called Are You Showing Up in Your Business? And that's something that I talked about. And I'm like, if I go to your personal Facebook profile, it should be blatantly obvious what you do.
Yes.
And if you're not, like, you might be posting on your business page. Are you posting on your personal page too? Are you sharing on your personal page? Is it linked to your website and your social media? Like, why the heck are you just posting on your business page? Like, you should literally weave what you do into every freaking interaction you have. If I met you at the gas station and I thought she could be my client, I would find a way to bump into you at that gas station and talk to you and be like, hey, are those riding pants I noticed? Do you have a horse? By the way, I'm a horse photographer. Do you need a horse photographer? And when you said, yeah, actually, I do have a horse. And I'm like, cool, this is what I do. I'm just going to hand you a business card. I'm actually going to be like, hey, actually, I don't have a business card on me. Can I get your information, or can I add you on Facebook, or can I follow you on Instagram? And I'm going to take that conversation into my own hands. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's not just about social media. It's about literally everyday life, showing up and being like, here's who I am. Here's what I do. And everyone should know you're that annoying girl that talks about her business and tells everyone what she does.
And that's the thing, I think the annoying word to me feels like lack of strategy. When I hear I'm being annoying, I hear lack of strategy. And sometimes we think it's frequency, but it's, hey, if you are really confident that your audience needs to hear from you at minimum 7 times per week, like if you really knew in your like heart of heart and you're like, I have a marketing plan. And that's one thing that you do amazing, Karinda. Like you really do walk the folks that work with you through that process. So it isn't like random posting. Again, it's not random removing lashes from a face before and after. It's actually value posts. It's teaching people, as you said, educational. When you think about the different ways in which you can approach your marketing, this literally is like your own version of HGTV, just with photographers, right? It's like HGTV does not just show demolitions or putting pillows on the couch. You get to see sometimes behind the scenes of how they purchase a house. You get to see their families sometimes, what it looks like for them to do this as a family business. You see sometimes them splitting apart. Sometimes you see business partnerships form. Like it's not just that one thing. And so no one ever says HGTV is so annoying. I can't believe all they talk about is houses all day, right? We love that channel. We love the inspiration. We love the education. We love the direction. And so think of yourself as HGTV, where you literally get to talk about photography, but there's so many different angles, areas that you can shed light that are going to really help you attract those higher paying clients.
Yeah. So I hear this all the time. People saying, I don't have any clients. And
Mm.
I say, what are you doing to market your business? And they say, I'm posting on social media. And I'm like, okay, marketing is not just posting on social media. It's not just putting a Facebook post out there once a week, especially, or just posting on Instagram and being like, I'm going to expect people to come knock down my door. It's about so much more than that. And so what I tell people, and I don't even know if I've told you this, Patrice, but it's my rule I made up. It's called the rule of 8. And what I like to say is that in the sales world, they like to say you have to ask for a sale 8 times before you get to a yes. And they've researched this and they've studied this and they've said, yes, on average, a salesperson has to ask for that sale 8 times. So I've taken this into my marketing and my portrait business and said, if I want somebody to be ready to invest with me in my portrait business and be ready to say yes to my business, I need to show up in my marketing 8 different times in 8 different places for that person.
Mhm.
And when I say that to people, they're like, oh, where am I showing up? Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok. I have a website. And you get like those first like 4 or 5 down, and then you're like, business thing. Wait, hold on. Where else do we go? So, what I'll say to you, if you're sitting here listening to this and you're saying, I am posting on social media, I'm showing up on social media. Social media on its own is not enough, especially if your messaging is not on par with where it needs to be, especially if you're just posting pretty pictures of your clients and being like, look at Sally's photos. Isn't her family so beautiful? That is not enough at all. I don't even know why I just said not like that, but that's how strongly I feel like that. And the other thing I wanted to share too on that point is you said only a small portion of your audience sees your posts on social media. So I always say this is my other fake marketing rule I made up. It's not a fake rule, it's just a Karinda rule. So you can steal my rules. Is the rule of 100. If you want your audience to know about something and be super aware of something you're doing, you need to be posting about it and sharing and talking about it at least 100 times. Because if you post 100 times and like 10% of people see it, then hopefully you're going to get at least 8 times in front of the people you need to get in front of in order to get the traction you need. So I hear this in like passion projects. People are like, I'm going to do a passion project. I'm going to do 40 over 40. no one applied. And I'm like, how many times did you share about it? And they're like, I think I posted about it like 5 times. I'm like, cool. Post about it 100.
Yeah, you're missing 95. That's such a good point. And when you think about it, even if you posted daily, right? That's 90 days. That's
Yeah.
actually not asking a whole lot. Can you post daily for 90 days?
Yeah.
Your days is literally like 90 days plus 10 days, right? Like 3.5 months. That's the minimum if you have a real functional business. And so literally consistency is key. And what you just gave is just a rule of, can I complain yet?
Yeah.
Right? Can I post 7 times and complain? No, like you're still short 93. There's still so much more posting and education, as you said, inspiration. And hey, there might be room for Sally and her family, right? Maybe. But it has to be cushioned by so much more value because there's not a value to your clients. And so giving them that value, giving them your heart, you guys are brilliant. And you got into this industry because you love what you do. Let's share more about the impact and how your clients feel after they've worked with you.
I love that. So we talked about like social media. We talked about like Facebook and Instagram. I feel like people are like super on. So people are like, I can use Facebook. I can use Instagram. I'm cool. Then you start to think about like email marketing, and people are like, "Eh, emails. I don't want to send emails and bug people and fill people's inboxes with stuff." So, what are some shifts that need to be made here around emailing your client?
So, what I want you guys to know is that email is not as cut and dry as you think. And I'm going to use a Macy's, for example. Macy's may email you, and I've never been annoyed by Macy's personally. But if you felt like you cannot stand Macy's for giving you details or deals or whatever they're doing, cool. You had the power, and I want to say this very clearly, you have the power to decide how your email marketing looks and feels, right? And so there's no cut and dry. It does not need to be a newsletter. It does not need to be a straight up come and buy. It literally can be an extension of your social media posts, which is what I recommend, right? Your email should very much read like a social media post. It should read like a blog entry. And so when you think about it differently, it can be story based. It can be inspirational or educational. So I think when we change the way we think about email and understand that if someone really is looking for a photographer and they're taking their time, let's say that they're taking their time, they want to hear from you. They want to know why you're different. They want these things, and put yourself on the flip side, right? If you're looking for an experience and not just a photo, you want to know from that individual what they do different, how they think different, how their clients had different experiences. Like they want to know these things. So you really can't share enough when someone's, yeah, I could go point and click and that's fine. But I want something that's gonna really capture my family, my horse, my milestone in a way that like I'll be brought to tears when I see it. You're going to want to hear from that person a little bit more. You're going to want to get a feel for, is this the right fit? And I think that's the biggest difference now between like from here versus before when you're just posting. You want them to be like, yeah, I'm entrusting this event with you. I'm entrusting this moment with you. I want to hear from you more often.
Yeah. I think that I like to say you have to show up so often and you have to show up everywhere your clients turn so that when they are ready to make the decision to hire a photographer, they have no other option but to think about you. And honestly, like that's part of the reason that I reached out to Patrice is because literally every time I got on social media, regardless of where I was, it was like, she's there, she's here, she's there. Ooh, man, that post really calls me up. Oh, man, that kind of stung a little bit. Ooh, I feel that. Oh, she can help me there. Wow, I need her in my life. And it was just because every time I showed up, you were also there showing up like in my face, constantly providing so much value. There was so much value there. And I wasn't even your client. I didn't even know who you were really, and you were providing value. We were just random Facebook connected. And I think that's so valuable. And, you know, don't worry about offending people and bugging them. If they didn't want to hear from you, they'll hit unsubscribe or they'll unfollow you. And I've learned that when I see an unsubscribe come through, I'm like, Heck yes, because I didn't want to waste my energy on that person anyway if they don't want to hear what I have to say.
That's so good. And just to go into that people pleasing, because again, that's us. That's how we feel, but your business has a different need. And so if you are hiding from people, if you're like hoping they feel a certain way about you, those aren't your business clients. And so take off the me hat and put the hat on your business and say, how can I, it's like a baby, right? For those of us who are parents, like how can your baby thrive, right? I don't like milk, but babies do. I'm not going to drink the milk, but the baby's going to drink the milk, right? I'm not going to have a pacifier, but the baby might have a pacifier. So what are the things that your baby needs to be able to thrive? And so just keeping in mind that legacy that we're building, that business that's going to allow for those of you guys who aren't full-time yet to become full-time. And if you're full-time, this is again, one thing that we're talking about now in our marketing. We don't want to be stuck to a point where our families never see us, or we're so overworked and burnt out and underpaid that we don't love what we do anymore, or our families are suffering because they don't get the best version of us. So we're doing this for a vision even bigger than ourselves. Don't get stuck in but they didn't like that. Your dream client is like waiting for your next post. And so we definitely want to give them the best of us.
Yeah, 100%. So we've talked a lot about you need to show up, you need to be present, you need to be sharing your story, your journey, the experience, the value. So people who are listening to this are probably like, holy crap, that sounds like a lot of work. So let's talk about like how you can do something like this. And honestly, I'll be real honest and transparent. In my coaching program, like we have a system that we teach our students about how to create content, repurpose content. The great part is that as a photographer, what you do, it's the same from year to year. And honestly, you can be using the same content over and over again every few months.
As
You
you
don't
should.
have to like, it took me being in business for 8 years before I realized why the heck have I been coming up with all these captions, all this content over and over again? I should just be banking all of this content and reusing it. Or, ooh, I wrote a blog post. That blog post could be 10 different social media captions. Or that blog post could be an email. Or that blog post could be a TikTok video. Or that blog post could be a Facebook Live. Like, you don't have to always be constantly reinventing content. Your content is all there. You just have to get really clever at repurposing. So, what would be your advice when it comes to figuring out how to repurpose and what to do so you're not just constantly posting on social media?
So good. I have a philosophy that you want your post to be substantial. You want your content to be substantial. You want to give yourself something that you can pull from, right? So that's number one. And so the way you do that, I'm going to give you guys 5 questions that I ask that help for clients to break down and make sure that their one post or that one video or however they're going to share through social is substantial. The first is stuck and struggling. Where are your clients struggling? Are they hiring for I've experienced this. I've hired a photographer in my past, my very first one, so bad. And I got my hair done and I blocked off my work calendar and I got my makeup done. It was so much money invested and the photography was so bad. And so I didn't just waste time, but I wasted all of this money to be camera ready, right? And so that's a pain point for me. That may be a pain point for your clients. Maybe they went cheap and they literally didn't just waste the opportunity for those images. It was all the prep that goes into being present for that photo shoot. So that's an idea that you want to make sure you incorporate that way you let your clients know, I see you. I know this is where you're uncomfortable. What's a common misconception around like an area? So let's say, for instance, let's say you're a horse photographer, right? And so maybe a misconception is that only blank kind of horses are going to be calm enough or are going to maybe the baby horses are just like not good at like staying still. Whatever it is that again, people are hesitant, this objection for whether or not booking, time of year, maybe whatever you feel like, maybe people think you don't do photography in the winter for certain seasons. I don't know. It's something that's happening where you're like, I can't believe y'all believe that. You want to incorporate that into your content. Another one's going to be a key quote, what's something you tell almost all of your clients? Like you find yourself repeating it over and over again. So those examples are ways that you can create what I call substantial content that you can easily pull apart, right? So that main content presentation is longer and that gives more emotion and it gives more depth. It is easier to pull from it and repurpose it. It is easier to take some of that and make it into a TikTok versus if all you post is that I had coffee today. I cannot stand those posts, right? So yes, I see you wanting to be more diverse in your posts and you want to show more of your personality, but you don't want to get stuck posting things like this is me and my coffee because again, the clients are not getting any value from it and then you can't repurpose that. You can't turn that into 10 different posts, right? Or 10 different captions. So the way in which you build your captions or build your content definitely matters.
I love that. I think that's a really important piece is just find those things that you need to talk about. And if you talk about it in January, talk about it again in March and talk about it again in June and talk about it again and talk about it often.
Yeah.
There's really like to be honest, our clients all have the same problems. It doesn't matter if my clients 10 years ago have the same problems they have now in a different genre, but still the stuff is the same. So build that content, build those ideas. Patrice has seen like the back end of how I plan content and all of the like captions that I have. I just have a ton of stuff just banked up, ready to go. And I'm not posting on social media every day manually. I am scheduling that stuff. It is scheduled. I actually have an assistant now that schedules that stuff. It takes her an hour, maybe 2 hours tops every month to schedule Facebook and Instagram and email content to go out for the whole month. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot of time once the system is created, but creating the system sometimes can take a bit, and it takes a shift of perspective, I think, which a lot of people just don't understand that perspective of what we're speaking about. So then they have no idea what to talk about.
So true. Again, we overthink it. We don't think about ways that we can repurpose it. And I just love it. It takes an hour. Like you have content systems. So I think you even give people a goalpost to aim towards to say, if you keep at this, it does not have to be gruesome for months and years. You can very quickly get to a place where you're putting your content on autopilot.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly important. So I mentioned TikTok in this last little discussion. People who follow me know I have not been a TikTok person. I have struggled a bit with TikTok. I've played around with it, but Patrice is actually, that's her jam. She's really good at that. One day I'm just going to pay Patrice and I'm just going to show up at her house and be like, make videos because that's how I feel about TikTok right now. So what do you think like the value is in showing up in a social media site like TikTok versus just sticking to like Facebook and Instagram?
I love TikTok for photographers because, yes, we said behind the scenes and being very careful about that. Folks love seeing the environment you create. So I don't want you to think about it in just this is the day in the life of a photographer. That's not why your clients are booking. They want to get a feel for the environment you create, right? So imagine if you like taking pictures, some folks hate it, but if you enjoy it, you got the lights shining on you, you got someone that's like masterfully like creating art with your body, how you're positioned, like you're watching how the person feels in those videos, you're like, they look so comfortable. And it might even be subconscious, but like when you're watching these behind the scenes, they get to see that. They get to see, again, I've coached, again, my former partner, let them watch you open up the album. Let them watch your client open up the album. And like we've had real tears on camera fall. We've had best friends squeal. And like those moments being captured and being expressed through TikTok, when I say game changer, like people now it we want to express through words, they're seeing it. They're seeing like really happy clients. They're seeing the look on your face where you're just like, so everything we explained earlier, you get to put that in video form, way less effort than writing. But it's so powerful. And so people are literally clicking the book button because they want to feel like that.
Yeah, I think that is so powerful. And if you're going to experiment with something new like TikTok or Reels, like just post something. I have honestly found in my trial and error, if I'm out there photographing a session, I just pull out my cell phone and I'm like, vroom, and just take a very quick panning video, or take a video of my client walking towards me and laughing and giggling, or take a video of me patting the pony's nose. Like, it doesn't even have to be like something that you've masterfully created and edited and spent an hour doing. I've honestly found that my stuff that does the best is just random off the cuff stuff that's just, oh, I should probably take something behind the scenes and post that on TikTok. And then I do it and it does really good. And then I
Mm,
spend a ton of time doing something and I'm like, oh, this is going to be epic. Doesn't really do anything. So don't like put too much pressure on yourself, whether it's TikTok or even like your social media captions. I hear my coaching clients saying, and there was actually a post in my private group today about this. And it was like, I feel so overwhelmed writing content and captions and emails because I'm a perfectionist. And I
mm,
sit there and I read it over and over again and I want it to be perfect. And I always just say, you know what? On social media, people are skimming. They're not really actually like analyzing every word and comma. And it's fine if you make a mistake. You are not an English professor. You are a photographer. Who cares if you have a typo? Who cares if it's not perfect? Like, as long as they can get the point. And if the fact that it's not perfect turns them off to you, they're probably not a client you wanted anyway, because they're probably jerks.
so true. And what blessed me, because even me being in marketing, I have my spouse and my bursts of yikes. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to get this wrong. Like, you love what you do. You love your clients. You want to be successful. And there were two phrases that were gifts to me. The first, you can't say the wrong thing to the right people. That lessened like so much anxiety I had. And so I'm like, yeah, like my people. And then the second is your people will know the sound of your voice, even if it's like your written voice. But like knowing that I don't have to get all the words right. But if I simply show up and I'm authentic, the people who are called to my work are going to be like, that's my girl. That's it. I can literally post about French toast. But if I post about it with the right heart, they're going to be like, I love her. So just giving you guys that breath of fresh air to know it's definitely not a perfectionist game at all with this. It's, are you passionate enough to show up for the people who want to book you?
Yes. Ooh, something else that I think I got from you that I want to point out and give you credit for. And if you didn't give me this, then I just you didn't. But I'm pretty sure this was you. I think we were talking about like TikTok and Reels. And I think you said to me, because I was like, I post stuff that really I don't put any thought into and it gets a ton of views. And then I post stuff that's very thoughtful and I've put a lot of time into. And it just feels like it falls flat. And I think you said to me, it doesn't matter how many views your videos get. Your video could get 10 views, but if it was the right 10 people, that's more valuable than hundreds of thousands of views by the wrong people.
That's it. That actually, you're right. Your brain is so smart. That was me. And the reason why I wanted to stress that is because we look at the vanity metrics and we decide if what we're doing is valuable. Is it worth it? And I say, one of the phrases I give, either it's always worth it, so work it. So it's always worth it. Someone seeing you, so that one of those views, like if all of your views were in a room, 10 people in a room looking at your video is a big deal,
Right.
right? But we look on social, like, oh, I only got 5 likes. 5 people like what you do. If those 5 people were in the room, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I have a real business. So like we really have to look at it from a standpoint of impact and not just a vanity metric.
100%. And as a photographer, like we don't need 500 clients a year. We need like most photographers realistically need 30, maybe 50, maybe 80 clients a year if you're really busting it and like really doing the thing. But you don't need that many clients. So it's like, why do you need thousands of people to see what you're doing? You just need those few people that really matter and are your people. So don't put so much stress and pressure on yourself to like feel like you have to create. Just show up, say something. Something's better than nothing. And even if it's imperfect, still say it. So, yes. Tell me this, because I hear this question a lot. What do you think When do you think it's an appropriate time that somebody says, I need to hire a copywriter or I need to hire somebody to help me with my marketing versus doing it themselves? Like, where do you draw that line, especially for photographers? Like, where does that lie?
So this for me, it's just funny, but my personal quote is don't throw my copy in the trash can. And the way that happens is if someone is looking for the copy to oversight insecurity around their own personal brand, right? And so a copywriter, in my opinion, should be to be like the lighter fluid on an already existing fire. So Karinda clearly is already on fire. This is a relief to her, not a band-aid, right? Like she clearly already knows how to market, and this is just a way for her to be able to run faster and reach more people. It's not appropriate to look for a copywriter to create a message that you have not already concretely tried and like actually validated, because then you're spending money for someone to test it for you. Now, sure, a copywriter, I'm in marketing. My full title is a chief marketing and sales officer. Yes, I understand marketing strategy. That's all well and good. But like even Corinda and I, we did work on her strategy before I ever picked up a pen or pencil for her. It was let's make sure that the messaging is concrete. Let's make sure that we're not speaking to our non-dream client. Like our ideal client may shift from year to year. So when you first started, Corinda, I'm sure the people who are booking you just don't, they think you're too expensive now. So you wouldn't want to hire a copywriter to create a bunch of content towards someone that's going to see you're too expensive anyway when you raise your rates. And so my advice to you is do the work to get your message concrete, do the work to validate your message, and then say, hey, I want someone to either enhance this or I'm ready to outsource this so I can make more money doing or working a different part of my business.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like, you have to be able to come to somebody and say, here's what I'm doing, here's what's working, here's what's not working, here's where I'm struggling. And then they can help you because if you just come to somebody and you're like, hello, I'm a photographer. I need to write emails to market my business. They're going to be like, what do we need to say? Who are your
Kind of
clients?
emails, yeah.
Who are your clients? What are you doing? How are you serving them? How are you showing up for them? But without those pieces, you really can't. And I've been down the bandwagon of hiring people in the earlier years of my business when I was not at that place. And I have probably tens of thousands of dollars worth of content and copy and emails that I paid to have written that are completely useless. I was going through my Google Drive the other day and I opened up one of those old documents from an old copy person I used. And I was like, oh, this was so bad. What was I thinking? Like I had an email sequence written, like when somebody inquired, they were going to get 5 emails to prep them and educate them and tell them all about my pricing, my experience. And I was like, this is BS. Now I just email them back and I'm like, hey, let's hop on the phone. When are you free? Now I have to talk to them.
Imagine that and thinking that you need something that you don't even need. The simplicity, and I'm just gonna, I'm super honest with you guys. I'm like, do you need this? Like when we first met, I'm like, do you need this? Are you sure? Do not pay me if you don't need this. I'm happy to help, but making sure that you're working with people who are honestly like, yeah, I want to see you win and I want to be an asset. Don't just spend the money because it feels like it's a solution if it's not truly going to be what you need.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So if somebody's listening to this right now and they're like, hello, I need this Patrice person in my life. Karinda clearly likes her. She must be good. And they want to reach out to you and talk to you more. How do you recommend they reach out to you? And where can they find you so they can follow you and see all of your awesome content? Because if you just want to watch somebody and see how to show up on social media, just go follow Patrice and just stalk her on Instagram and TikTok and be like, oh, this is what Corinna means when she says you should show up. Yes, that's what I mean. Like, show up like Patrice. Just hear that in the back of your head. Show up like Patrice. So how can they find you and where can they follow you?
So they can find me on Facebook. I am Patrice Garrison. Yes, I have 2 profiles. You can click either. They can find me on Instagram as Successful on Social. I'm there also on TikTok, Successful on Social, the at sign, you know how that goes. And I'm happy to connect. My actual copywriting store is actually under Charismatic Copy. And so you can go to charismaticcopy.com and you can purchase a la carte. just know the rest of the world knows that like we are completely sold out right now. So if you say, "Hey, I know Karinda," then we'll let you sneak through the back. But like the rest of the world, no, because we're serving folks like Karinda and we're making sure that we're like all the way focused in. So if her folks need help, we'll take care of y'all. But don't tell anybody else.
I love that. And yeah, honestly, if they just watch what you're doing and how you're showing up, like you're gonna learn a ton because I have learned a ton just by watching you. And that's part of being in this world is like Patrice does have a background and she does know the photography world, but like she is a marketer at heart. She is a copywriter at heart. Like those are her areas of expertise. And really, the way you start to learn is you start to learn from people like Patrice. That is what they do. Stop just learning how to write stuff from people in your industry or the business you're in. Go outside of your world, expand your horizons, learn from real experts. And I can teach you how to create content and strategy, but like, you're going to have to go learn and do some real like studying to learn how to write. I read so many books, to be honest with you. I read a lot of copy books and I,
Oh, I spent hours on this. If I would have just hired someone at the right time, it's great to know for yourself. But like at the same time, like you said, you gotta go to someone who's, hey, let me help you with it. Let's at least strategy is even key. Let's strategize through it.
yeah. And you have to learn. You have to learn too what you're looking for. Cause if you just go out and you try to find a copywriter or a marketing person to step in and help you, but you don't know copy or marketing, you are going to get screwed over. Like, hands down, you have to know what to ask and be able to identify, is this person actually somebody that is good and knows what they're talking about? And in order to do that, you have to know something yourself, which is the struggle, right? But hopefully today has opened your eyes and you're starting to see some things to consider when it comes to marketing and really the importance of just connecting with your people and creating those relationships, whether it's on social media or even in person when you're at the gas station and you see somebody wearing riding pants and you're like, that's a horse person. So thanks for joining us today. Reach out to Patrice, send us a message, let us know what you thought about this episode and what you took away today. And I will see y'all next week.
Thanks for having me.